Good afternoon, film fans and JPC News viewers. This is Not Too Critical Reviews. I'm your host, Renard.
And I'm Vince Salerno.
We're going to be reviewing 4 films in this episode, so let's get going.
Now, while Renard does his reviews, I will step aside and prepare my thoughts for Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace.
Ladrones is an action comedy, a heist film directed by Joe Menendez. It's kind of a complicated story, but here I go. So, in the aftermath of the Mexican-American War in the 19th century, the victorious Americans told Mexican landowners who were living in American territory that they could keep their land if they held on to their land grants, assuming that they still had them. In Ladrones, the Ramirez family discovers their land grants after having lived generations of basically living on rented land. So they're hoping that they could actually get their land back, own it completely. Unfortunately, it gets stolen from them, and so the Ramirez family has to approach Alejandro, played by Fernando Colunga, who is sort of like a Robin Hood-ish kind of character. He steals from the rich and gives to the poor, to help them out and get their land grants back. Now, Alejandro, he used to work with a friend of his named Emilio, who's played by Miguel Varoni. However, Emilio now works for the CIA, so he can't exactly use Emilio's help anymore. Alejandro also approaches his friend Santiago, played by Eduardo Yanez, who quit his life of crime at the advice of his wife, so he says he's only going to have to be a consultant. So Alejandro has to rely on the members of the Ramirez family to pull off a heist from Miranda Kilroy, who is basically the heir to the landowners of the land on which all of these Mexican families unfortunately had to live upon. I have to say, this film ultimately is just a cute little heist film. It has its fresh moments. I have to say the use of the Ramirez family members as the accomplices was actually kind of nice. You haven't seen that too much before in heist films. It has its moments of intelligence, as typical of heist films. It also has its cringeworthy moments. If you see the film, you'll probably know what they are. It's not meant to be anything more than a cute little heist film, and I'm okay with that. I'm actually kind of glad that these Mexican films are finding more of an audience across the border ever since 2013's Safety Not Included and this year's animated film Un Gallo con Muchos Huevos. Just take this film as it is, being a cute little heist film, and be glad that these Spanish language films, this film is bilingual, by the way. It has maybe like 10% English, mostly Spanish. So be glad that other cultures are bringing in more of their cinema into the United States that aren't strictly foreign, made for American audiences. I'm going to give this film 3 stars out of 5. It's not the best, but it's cute. It's a nice little heist film. You'll have fun. You'll enjoy it. Now all I hope for is that these films that are coming across the border add more cinematic gravitas and freshness to them, which I do have strong hopes for. So if you're in the mood for a bilingual heist film, check Ladrones. Have you seen any good films lately? Old, new, in theaters, at home?
Be sure to let us know in the comment section below.
Be sure to tune in next week when we review 4 films: Goosebumps, Woodlawn, Crimson Peak, and Bridge of Spies.
Also, next week I will be continuing my Star Wars saga reviews with Episode 2, Attack of the Clones.
Finally, be sure to take the time and check out our